an architect from one of the best colleges in India, is here wanting to do an MBA.
Why MBA?
I would like to say it is a lack of business acumen or business development which firms are not acknowledging right now.
The salary is not that high. So what are the reasons behind this?
Because of the competitiveness in the market, architects have to agree at lower level of.
So you are saying the firm isn't making a lot of money, and that is why people are not getting paid well.
Exactly.
What's considered to be one of the highest awards in the domain of architecture?
Internationally, it is the Pritzker Prize. Architect B.V. Doshi was awarded with the Pritzker Award for his notable works.
So what do you think are your weaknesses?
So one of my weakness that I have identified, which would be important in my future B school career, was public speaking.
Why do you need to come to a B school for that?
If let's say MBA thing does not work out, then what's the plan?
If I don't get into a B school, I will transition my job role by joining a developer firm. That would be the first step.
Hi Jay.
Hi sir, good afternoon.
So tell me why somebody like you, who is an architect from one of the best colleges in India, is here wanting to do an MBA.
So sir, the reason being 2 years of my work experience where I have worked on various large scale projects at Practice Design, which was my firm, and my realization while working on the projects where my strengths lay was not into design roles of an architect but more into managing the projects, where my work involved working with multiple stakeholders, starting with the sales team, the marketing team of the client, which provide us with the first step of our project, which is a design brief. And that first step included understanding the user groups of our project who will be coming and residing in the spaces that we design. At a later stage, after we develop the concept and it gets approved, my role also involved coordinating with various stakeholders like the consultants of a project, like the structural consultant, the MEP consultant, landscape consultant, to incorporate all the necessary elements which are required to move into construction stage. And while moving that stage, we call it the schematic design stage. It involves various conflicts which are supposed to be resolved between various consultants and also to lead the internal teams while producing drawings, where it involves roles like delegation of work. My initial role was to lead the project and to conduct workshops, to attend meetings, to address the issues raised by the client team or any individual consultant which is not able to. I'd like to explain it with an example. For example, a villa design which I was working on, where a structural consultant is not agreeing to the amount of soil fill which is being proposed by a landscape consultant to accommodate the plants which are going to come in the planters or the vegetation that is coming in. So we have to address both the issues along with my design element, that was the elevation of the building or the elevation of a planter which is specifically coming on into the building, to modify the design, to look for alternate solutions which can be used to reduce the soil fill and also accommodate the planter or the plants. So working in such roles and leading a project development, realized that my forte lies into management and into larger managerial roles. So that is why I decided to pursue an MBA, where I could switch my career from design specific to leading teams and leading larger teams and business development roles.
Okay, so tell me, in the current organization, are you still working right now or?
No sir, I resigned in the month of July 2024.
Okay. So in that organization or in any of the organizations that you have been associated with, maybe your friends are working at other places, at how many such places you have MBAs who are working in the architecture firm?
No sir, at current stage, if I talk about any large scale firm, so my firm was a small firm having 15 employees, but I also had an experience of working at a 200 employee firm, which was initial 1 month of my professional experience. Architectural firms are not very keen on hiring MBAs because of, first is the software knowledge that an architect is required or anybody in a firm is required, a basic software knowledge which is specific to architecture industry. So second is, I would like to say it is a lack of business acumen or business development which firms are not acknowledging right now. I totally agree that big firms would require business development roles or people having an MBA degree or business management degree to further improve the client facing role, improve the revenue of the project, bring in more clients, streamlining operations. That is one of a very important part which I have seen as a drawback in our firms. So that is where I feel MBA should be a very interesting.
And you were able to spot it as somebody with 2 years after your architecture, and people who have been in that domain for years have not been able to figure that out?
No, sir. We have an additional branch which is called the construction management branch, but it does not come into the architecture domain. Firms are not willing to hire project managers, but they feel that the same kind of work can be managed by architects. But my realization was that I am not very good with design, which is the primary role of an architect. If I want to pursue architecture at 10 to 15 years down my line, I don't see myself as a star architect in the industry who can win projects based on the concept design, which is the initial stage, the idea. But I have a strong skill set in managing the execution and taking the schematic stage ahead. That is what I see in myself.
So I have interacted with architects in the past who are trying to get into MBA programs, and generally I found that they are not paid well. So the entry level salaries that are there in architectural firms or any other roles for that matter that architects end up taking, the salary is not that high. So what are the reasons behind this?
So I myself have faced this issue in the past. First big reason is being a service industry, architecture service industry. We are the fees that architects charge for projects, they are very low compared to a total cost of the project. Like it comes down to 1% of the revenue, which is very difficult to maintain or run firms, because not just the fee part. What architecture requires is a lot of reworking while a design development. So a developer or a client keeps changing the design based on the impact that they get from the market, based from the feedback from the clients. That is what happens. And while architects have to make sure to cater to these requirements of the client, there is also a lot of bargain which happens in terms of the fees. And because of the competitiveness in the market, architects have to agree at lower level of
So
fees.
you are saying the firm isn't making a lot of money, and that is why people are not getting paid well.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
It comes down to the per square footage charge of a project, which is being charged as a service, design fee basically.
What's considered to be one of the highest awards in the domain of architecture?
Internationally, it is the Pritzker Prize, awarded to an exceptional architect.
Are there any Indians who have received the Pritzker Prize?
Yes, sir. Architect B.V. Doshi was awarded with the Pritzker Award for his notable works.
Okay, and what works in India?
So B.V. Doshi was the chief architect for the design for IIM Bangalore campus. That was one of the notable projects that I know. Apart from this, he has very notable contributions in the city of Ahmedabad, where his own studio is located. Like the Sangath office, that if anybody would have seen, the design of Sangath office, and the another project is the Hussain Doshi Gufa, which was designed in collaboration with M.F. Hussain, the renowned artist. So both of them had a vision to design that Hussain Doshi Gufa, which is actually built like an underground cave structure, and it is not a straight building. It doesn't have straight lines. It is a completely fluid form which you would see. So that are one of the notable projects. And what I like more about B.V. Doshi is his vision about modernism. So modernism was a very important drive or a revolution in the industry of architecture or building industry, where architects like B.V. Doshi or Louis Khan, the chief architect for IIM Ahmedabad, they portrayed the importance of removal of ornamentation on buildings. They focused on how a building is a product which should serve the purpose of the user or the activity happening in that building and not just be beautiful.
Okay. Speaking of beauty, so as an architect, what do you prefer more, or what do you consider to be more important, the aesthetic beauty or the utility of whatever construction you're making?
So being an architect, the first role is to make sure design a building which has a balance of both. First is obviously to follow the function of the building. I always go by the saying by Louis Sullivan that form follows function is the line, where a building should, first we should cater to the function of a building, and then the form or the shape of the building should evolve from the function. It should not be the other way around. An unnecessary design like a circular building or a spherical building would not do justice to the user. But if it is for example, if it is an exhibition gallery, it will require to have a circular wall or circular design for a seamless portrait of elements. So that is my approach towards design.
Okay. Girish?
So you said you are not so good at designing, right? That means you are saying that you are not very good at the core functions of architecture.
I will not say that I am not very good at the core functions of architecture. Architecture industry, it involves two stages of work. The first stage is the preparation of the initial concept design, and the second stage is developing bringing the concept to reality. That is also a very important stage in architecture, which I see myself good at. And by realizing that, I feel that I can pursue these skills not just in a limited industry of architecture, but in a broader concept by pursuing an MBA, where I can work into many other industries by managing teams or working business development roles.
Okay, so my question is,
Sorry, sir.
You have not been to a B school yet, you haven't seen the world of management as such yet, right?
No, sir. Yeah.
So, what is the guarantee that some 4 years down the line, you would not say that I'm not so good at marketing, but I'm better at something else? So, where will you go?
No, sir. So what I have a career path or an idea about maybe 5 years down the line is to pursue an MBA and to stay connected to the industry, to transition my role from design to business development like real estate marketing or domains like such, and to pursue my passion for construction towards buildings, but not through the design role. That is where I see myself. Because of my experience working with residential projects with client specific role, basically, where I have worked on the township project.
So, what do you think are your weaknesses?
So one of my weakness that I have identified, which would be important in my future B school career, was public speaking, which I'm not very confident with. I have experienced stage fright in my previous college events also, which I think will be of importance to work on while transitioning into a B school or a business role, which I need to work on. But I think by entering a B school and getting into more activities like group discussion or case competitions or events like where I have to present myself in front of a large crowd, I think I can work on it and improve myself at that.
So, have you heard of Dale Carnegie Institute?
No, sir.
Dale Carnegie?
No, sir.
Okay. So, he was a very renowned public speaker. He is no more now, but there is an institute named after him. So, they provide this kind of training. So, why do you need to come to a B school for that?
So this weakness is not the important point where the reason why I want to join a B school, but I see as a negative point in my profile which needs to be improved to further excel at my roles which I'll be pursuing after the B school. That is what I think about.
So, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book which I read recently was Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. I was
Go on.
So very much relates to my story, I think, about the character, the interaction between the character Howard Rock and Peter Keating, where I see that I performed well during my undergrad education. I'm confident, but I do realize that my role is not into design, but it is more into management, where I think I should take the transition right now and not drive myself more into the career that I realized later it was not my forte or domain.
So are you okay with Howard Rock's point in that particular book, right? So if the building is not as per my vision, I don't mind the building.
No, sir.
What is Howard Rock's stand so regarding construction and buildings?
Howard Rock's stand regarding building is that he is an individualist who has his vision of designing buildings. I am not very much in support of Howard Rock's stand about buildings, because in today's world, or if I talk about the current scenario, it is not the community or the working is not an individualist progression that is going on. I would feel more that the design is developed by coordination. It is a product or a result of multiple views or ideas coming in from feedback of the user group. That is what is more important for a building. For example, he decided to bomb the temple building that it was designed, but I don't go by his strong vision. But a temple will have to cater to the principles or the usage of that particular the people who will be using the temple, or their perspective of how a temple should be. That is how it should be designed.
Okay. So do you subscribe to the philosophy of individualism or you don't?
Sir, I don't subscribe to the philosophy of individual. I am a team worker. I like to take into consideration the ideas of what is there in my community or in my context. Basically, while designing a building, context is very important. So that is what I go with.
Just to take Girish's point on when you mentioned, right, that you're not very good at design, but I can see your achievements speak otherwise. So international winner of V Cinema design competition, national winner transparency design competition. So you are good at it. So why are you saying that you are not good at it?
I'm not specifically saying that I'm not good at it, but I don't enjoy the process of design. That is what I realize. I enjoy more of...
You still ended up participating in all these competitions and winning them.
So they were also a requirement as a part of our curriculum, where a subject called electives was there in every semester, where we had to work with the practical part or the practical companies, professionals from the industry like Everest Industries or Kajaria Tiles. So which was required as a requirement of our syllabus, and we had to take participation. These were team projects where my role again was specifically into the presentation part of the projects, to prepare the 3D models of the design which was developed. For example, one of the first achievement that you see, the V Cinema competition, if I can explain, the idea or the inspiration of the form was taken from a flower of a lily, which was not my idea. But my contribution to the project was the inclusion of additional elements to that cinema design to change the seating layout of the cinema design. That was my contribution, where we see the seating arrangement of a theater or an auditorium has been conventional throughout centuries. You see that. But what if we have a different kind of seating, where we have separate pods? We look into new age technology like inclusion of translation. One cinema, if it could be played having multiple pods with multiple translators, and people are sitting in a confined pod but looking at a common screen, or inclusion of that is already existing, the inclusion of 4D and 5D techniques which can enhance the user experience. So that was also portrayed in the particular design.
I mean, architecture again, city planning or urban planning is gaining a lot of importance. So a lot of architecture students, I see that they are trying to specialize in this domain. So what is city planning or urban planning, and how is it different from, let's say, the traditional architecture careers that exist?
So city planning or urban planning can relate to two types of further bifurcation into, it can lead to two further bifurcation. One is the policy making while working on city planning. The policies which relate to the requirement of the road designs, the footpath designs, or designs of public service ancillary structures which come like public toilets, or the frequency of public toilets, or the number of public toilets in a locality or community. Whereas traditional architectural roads are related to a particular design of a building, or they cater to a specific design role. Like an urban planner would be providing a master plan of a township where he's strategizing the location of what building or what activity should be given in which zone. But an architect will be the one who will be designing that particular amenity building, if it is a clubhouse or if it is a residential building. So that is how two roles differ.
What's your backup? So I can see you're not working at this point of time. So if, let's say, MBA thing does not work out, then what's the plan this year?
Yes, sir. So I have a plan B in place, which was to, if I don't get into a B school, I will transition my job role by joining a developer firm. That would be the first step to have an active job and a active payout for my existence. Apart from that, I would be joining an additional course to, like, these are small courses of 6 months duration to improve my skills in the real estate industry which are required. It could be, first would be the project management role, which helps me understanding the processes which are required from land acquisition to construction, which is also an important part of the real estate industry. And similar roles like that, where to work with marketing teams, basically front end work of the projects.
Girish?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we'll conclude the interview here. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Jay, so you're done with the interview.
Yes.
We'll begin the feedback.
Sure.
So how do you think it went?
I think it was, in the initial stage, it was decent enough. Like it went well while explaining my work roles. But when it came to a discussion about plan B, or why to specifically shift from design to management or an MBA, I think I was not very able to clearly justify why I want to go into MBA. It could also be the management part of the construction where I could excel. So that is where I found I was not very confident.
So first of all, you're a very good candidate. Okay. All the B schools also look for diversity in terms of their batch,
Yes.
in terms of educational qualification of their batch.
Okay.
And because you're an architect, that is a very good plus point you have.
Okay, sir.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Because there are too many engineers, quite a few CAs and other students, but not too many architects
Yeah.
in a B school. So that is a very good opportunity for you
Okay.
to leverage that.
Yes.
Yeah?
Agreed.
Now, when it comes to this interview, there is one definite point that I noted is that most of your answers are too long.
They're long. Okay.
So beyond the point, I started getting confused. What is it that you're talking about? Huh?
Yes.
So when we were in engineering college, we had oral exams. Okay?
Right.
And in the oral exams, if we did not know the answer, what we used to do? We used to talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, we do.
Just to give the impression to the professor that we know something.
Right.
So, I don't mean to say that you were trying to do that,
Right.
but this is the impression other person can form.
Possible. Agreed.
And it all depends on the interpretation of the interviewer.
Yes.
So, what you want to do is your answer should be crisp.
Okay.
So, identify the points. Now, first of all, why MBA?
Yes.
So, why are you being so defensive in the sense that I did not good at designing, I did not like the designing and all.
Right.
So instead of saying that because you did not like something or you are not good at something, Why? You use it as an sort of a plus point, something as a stepping stone towards your later career.
Towards expanding my career or expanding my domain?
Exactly.
Something like that?
So, you have already seen this designing part.
Yeah.
Because, you already have quite a few achievements in designing. So, I don't think anyone can question you on that. Question your intent when you say that I have. See, and even if you did not really enjoy designing, and when it comes to this interview, there's nothing that stops you from saying that you like designing.
Okay, agreed. It is one part. It could be one attribute of my
core of architecture.
Yeah.
Right. And if you say that you did not really like the core of architecture, that won't reflect good.
Okay.
Then, the second part is in your work experience, you handle client communication and the managerial aspect.
Right.
Of that. Now, can you come up with a story wherein you did not, you came across some experience and you did not know certain aspects, and then you prescribe some policy major, not policy major as such, but you said that we should do this, and then later on it turned out that it was not really the right way to go about the things, something like that.
A realization during my work experience?
So, where I'm coming from is if you can establish that you have this work experience, fair enough, but still there is something lacking in the sense that in terms of knowledge or in terms of theoretical understanding, and I can get that understanding in a way
from that particular piece.
Sure. And if you can establish that link, it would be terrific. So instead of being defensive and unnecessarily don't criticize anything, designing and whatever it is.
Sure.
Because otherwise you can invite some uncomfortable questions.
Yeah, I got that point. I got experience. Yes.
So just, and later on you said that there are two stages, and the first stage is designing and you enjoyed the second stage. That's fine, but instead of saying that you did not enjoy the first stage, you might make just a passing reference to it without saying that you did not enjoy that. But I really enjoyed the second part.
Yeah.
And I want to build up on that.
Build up on the second part, yeah. Understood.
And see, Lodha is a very big recruiter.
Yes, sir, I know that.
On B school campuses.
Okay. On B school campuses, this is what I was not aware about. I've heard of real estate firms hiring MBA grads recently.
So don't be defensive at all.
Yeah.
The way you can portray is that you are already an architect, you have seen the real execution of the project, you have worked on that, and coupled with the knowledge of sales, marketing and finance and operations. And other domains in the business.
Right.
It will be like a win-win situation for me. Say it with conviction.
Okay.
So mainly that is the feedback I wanted to give you. First of all, you need to make your answers crisp.
Yeah.
So you don't want the interviewer to get confused.
Okay. Right.
And then about this why MBA. And you also briefly made a reference to construction management. Actually, I was planning to ask you that question. There are some courses in construction management wherein they combine the architecture, civil engineering architecture part with management. So why don't you go for that?
Why not construction management and why?
Because that would be a better career path for you. So just be prepared with that answer.
Sure.
And don't criticize construction management. The idea that you want to highlight is that MBA is for me.
Business is a bigger a better opportunity which I want to seek than construction management.
So MBA
Aligns with my
aligns with
interests.
your goals in a better way than
Construction management.
That doesn't mean construction management is bad.
No, it is what I want to pursue.
Exactly. So that is the idea that you want to do.
Sure, sir.
I agree with what Girish mentioned. So first of all, you're a solid candidate, right? So decently prepared as well at this point of time, and as time progresses, you will be better prepared once you have more interview practice and everything. As he also mentioned, right, that saying I'm not good at design, and that's why also I questioned you on those achievements, because see, if you're not good at design, or let's say you maybe didn't enjoy it, you would not have participated in so many competitions and even won those competitions, right? So that is why don't play on that front. Rather use it as a strength, saying okay, I'm good at it, but then XYZ skills are missing at this point of time, which I will gain to achieve whatever I want to achieve in life. Okay. Otherwise, overall, I think most of your answers are pretty balanced. Even communication wise, it's okay. Some answers, yes, they were pretty long. So the first answer itself kind of went on and on.
Yeah.
Where you risk the possibility of the panelist losing interest. And then the next question can be completely random also. Okay. So that is why his feedback is valid, that your answers have to be crisp. In most of the cases, the answers were fine, except a few places. So it's okay. But just be mindful of that. Your knowledge is fine about industry, what is going on regarding architectural firms and things like that. Even say Pritzker prize, etc. I wasn't expecting you to know a lot about it, but then
even Ratan Tata was on the panel who awarded.
So you were able to answer. Even book question, I think fountainhead is fine, but again, just be careful because the entire objectivism philosophy.
Yes, sir.
So just be careful of that. That's it. Otherwise, it was fine overall. Pretty sorted. And even when you said competition, you had a point which I liked, that I was more on the presentation side. So you said,
exactly,
which is fine thing to say, but then again, I would not play defensive and say that okay, I'm good at design.
I would like to highlight my skills and not criticize what was.
You'll have to wear it as a badge of honor, I would say, and say that okay, I'm good at it. But this is what I also need to do to achieve, or for the next challenge, or for whatever it is that you want to do. So great. Overall, I think pretty solid candidate, good academic record. So I hope things work out fine for you. So wish you all the best, and I hope this has helped.
Thank you so
much.
All
the
best.
best.
I just had one question to ask, as not as my interviewers, but as my mentors, if I can ask.
Sure.
Is it right to bring in the conversation about pursuing business or a business degree or an MBA, and then further proceeding ahead into the construction industry itself? Or I should not bring this point? As you said, Lodha is a big recruiter. But I can use this point as a very strong reasoning why I am coming from architecture and do business. But what I have received as feedback is to not talk about real estate firms while being school interviews, because many of these placements happen into FMCG sector or happen into finance roles or something else. Because finance also comes under real estate in the construction industry, and it is a very huge branch of real, which I have seen through my project.
Correct.
Is it good to bring in my future aspiration to join a construction industry, a firm, a real estate firm, or I should be neutral on joining any FMCG firm?
I think you can play neutral. I mean, see, there are a lot of opportunities that exist. As you said, finance is again big in the construction business. Right?
Exactly.
Consulting is also there. You even non-technical project management roles that could be there, right? So you can play neutral. As he also he was about to question you on construction management, that why don't you enter into that if you want to get into construction management? So might as well do that course instead of doing an MBA. So that you run that risk if you say construction management. So it's better to play neutral in my view.
Yeah,
that you're open to.
Open to other roles as well, not just construction.
And then if you say that construction industry itself, and what if companies from that industry do not visit the campus?
Exactly.
That is
so that is where my risk stands.
So you can play neutral.
Play neutral about further pursuing business development roles rather than talking about real estate or construction. That is what I want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you so much,
all
sir.
The best.
Thank
all
you.
The best.
Thank you.